And now, direct from the International Blind Cafe, welcome to The Cauldron.
Hey, ladies, how's it going? You know what I was thinking the other day about dating and marriage, just talking to my kids and the obstacles and how difficult it is for them dating. What are your views and what do you think? Is it harder? Well, obviously it is harder being visually impaired and blind, but what could we instigate that could maybe help us? I know for myself, I'm kind of out of touch with that as I've been married for many years, but watching my children go through it, it's difficult and they have sight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I see my stepsons date and it's all Tinder, Bumble, and I'm like, so how would I do that now? Being a blind woman dating online, how would you navigate that app? Because isn't dating, attraction like, oh, that girl looks cute or that guy looks, handsome. There's always a chemistry element, like you're attracted physically first to somebody. You're not going to walk up to somebody and go, I bet you have the greatest personality. Bet you I like you. No, it's what you look like. It's what you're attracted to, whether it be a blonde or a brunette, whatever, ethnicity. So how would a young person or even how would you do that? You know what I mean? Like it just seems it would be frightening. Like you'd have to just solely be based on I don't know what they say in a text message. That just seems
True,
very
yeah.
hard for me to fathom, from when
What do you think, Morgan?
yeah, Morgan,
My
you're like
experience
our young
is,
girl here.
yeah, I'm single, so,
You're a
been
single
single since
lady.
October. Yeah, single lady. So, um, for me, I just find that it's hard, like you're saying, it's hard because I can't see their photos, but
Hmm.
they can see me.
Yeah.
So, and I've tried dating other blind people, but then I don't know, when they compliment you, I feel like it doesn't hit the same as when someone sighted says, "Oh, you're pretty," because I know they can't see me.
Oh.
So I have mixed feelings about dating like sighted versus blind people.
I never thought of it like that.
No,
That's a
that's
compliment, yeah.
that's a great way of looking at it. Yeah.
I, I, I have children that, have dated and what have you, and it's this whole, like you said, it's Tinder or Bumble but
Oh, this, yeah.
I'm with the chat rooms in the International Blind Cafe, and we're talking to people that are single and how they view dating as a visually impaired person. Like, I mean, it's a whole other ball game. I mean, there's things that I've never even thought about before.
Yeah.
So, and again, from a female's perspective to a male perspective on dating with sight loss. But yeah, like you said, Steph, when it's, or Morgan, when it's just the picture. I know for me, I mean, okay, let's face it, just because I'm on a diet doesn't mean I can't look at the menu, right?
That's
So
right.
I'm married, but I still, but it's like if I walk past somebody or I'm with some, in a room and somebody has a really nice aftershave on, or
Oh,
just
yeah.
the way you can, like, people really do have an aura about them, how they carry themselves. Like you can, they project that. So I don't know how, if I ever became single again. I don't know how. Well, I wouldn't, because ain't nobody seeing this naked anymore. But that's a whole other matter.
And I love
I think
Morgan's perspective. I'm sorry, Morgan, that is a great perspective. Like if you polled people, would you rather date a fellow blind, visually impaired person, or would you really prefer dating somebody sighted? And that's just like a great way of looking at that. I would, obviously I'm married, so I didn't really think about that, but what if I was faced with that, you know, decision,
mhm.
you
I
know?
think for me, I mean, I got married before I lost my vision,
Yeah,
so
me
now
too.
my husband is stuck with me. but he's really adapted well, and he's been amazing. And with the help of my parents as well, we've been able to manage. But I think a lot of it comes down to being more like if you were dating with visual loss, you rely on your other senses. Like I know for me, my husband always was able to make me laugh, and someone that has a sense of humor,
Yeah.
and to be able to actually carry a conversation and chat, and like that goes a long way.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
most definitely.
me, it's voices. Like I can get really attracted to a guy's voice,
Yes.
and it's like replaces the attraction of like seeing them for
Yeah,
me.
the physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, even when I had sight, that was something that, like you say, it's like, oh, you could read me the phone book and I'd listen to it. Yeah. But do you find, Morgan, that um the or it's not, or you're not meeting people organically anymore? Like you are actually going and looking at profiles, and instead of meeting somebody while you're having a game of pool at the local pub, or, going for, I don't know, when you're walking your dog or
Well,
anything, doing
yeah.
something that you enjoy. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot less organic. It's a lot more just, well, sometimes it can be kind of organic online. Like you'll just click with someone online. You really vibe well together.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less organic. It's a lot more of like profiles and online versus like meeting someone at a bar or something, because I don't know. I feel like people don't want to approach the blind person all like as much as they when they see the cane, as much as they'd approach someone without a cane. They just
Have,
don't go for it.
no. Have you ever had where somebody does approach you though, and they haven't seen you stand up and use your cane, and they're
Yeah.
plainly interested, and then you excuse yourself to go to the bathroom or whatever, and it's like, I mean, they just trip over the feet. They can't get away fast enough. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's definitely happened. Or it happens online too. Like even though I put in my bio, it's like it's not the first thing about me, but I do put it at the end that I'm blind, you
yeah.
know? But they just look at the pictures and they don't read the bio, and then they just nope out of there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where do you put that in a profile? Like, how do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I think you should. I don't think that's fair to anybody to not put that in, you know? So it's like, yeah, at the end, you're like, oh, and by the way, because you don't want to lead with it, because that's not how we feel about ourselves. But, you got to be honest. So I just,
But there's
oh,
also the like you said, Morgan, they just look at your picture, right? So
Yeah.
they look at your photo and think, oh, she's hot. They don't care what's in your bio half the time. Like, probably they're not even. But I think it's like even dating in person. You've got to kiss a
mhm.
lot of frogs before you find your prince, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about like social groups or or
Like,
functions, like
Yeah.
maybe some of the CNIB functions or RNIB or
yeah, that's
For me, CNIB, everyone's like 60 plus, and I'm in my 20s, so
yeah,
it's really
yeah.
a
not
little
where I'm
hard
planning to
to
meet
be.
Mr. Right.
No,
60
no.
plus. Well, you've got a young crowd where you are. No,
Oh,
but then that whole brings the whole thing that, do you want to, do you want to date somebody? Would you date somebody that's got sight loss? If you do, and
What about
you know,
if they lived in a different city too?
yeah, I mean, I know
but we,
this discussion in a room the other day, and one of the members said that he didn't know that there's benefits to dating a sighted woman and there's benefits to being with a woman with sight loss, because at least they, everyone knows what each other are going through, and you don't move things around on them like
Yeah.
your shampoo conditioner.
yeah, yeah,
But then there's especially if you don't live in an area where transportation is readily available, then it's the whole logistics about even going on a date,
yeah,
you know.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
There's
I
also
think
a safety aspect with online dating. I mean, you hear stories. So, as a blind person, you're vulnerable to a stranger that you're meeting. You know what I mean? And you're vulnerable, I think, to begin with. Make sure you tell somebody, blah, blah, blah. But you hear sometimes that not everybody has the best of intentions when they're out there. And what if, as being a woman, a man's like, oh, well, she's blind, so I can overpower her. She'll be weak. You don't know. There is a
Mhm.
safety aspect to it.
Oh, there really is. Yeah.
Even for the sighted. I always tell like my nieces and you guys be careful. People don't always represent who they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be careful.
mhm.
There's what you should put on your bio, Morgan, is the benefits of dating um a girl with sight loss. You get free parking and 2-for-1 movie tickets. What more could you want? Talk about a cheap date.
Cute, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, but no, it does bring a whole, and I don't think, I mean, when my husband and I got together, I mean, I was still driving and working and all the rest of it. And yes, I had the eye disease, and yes, we spoke about it, we talked about it, but the reality of it was not there staring us in the face for either one of us.
Mhm.
So as that, and I think it's just probably the same when you're dating as well. I mean, it's like anything else, can I, is this something that, is
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is
Yeah.
it something, I just can't live with, like he chews with his mouth open or something. So,
I met my husband while I was cane training and he basically went through it with me, like stages up until, I really lost it completely after we got married. So it was a journey, and I thought he was full of it when he like came up to me and wanted to. I'm like, really? I'm a girl with a cane. Like I didn't have a positive attitude about myself then, and then I just thought he was, I don't know, either making fun of me or he thought I'd be, I don't know, easy to manipulate,
Mhm.
or something. I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. It was just foreign to me. But yeah, and he's been through, all of it with me, and now we're married, and that was a navigation too,
yeah, yeah. I, I don't, I imagine it's harder for um, a guy that's blind today as opposed to
Mhm.
um, a girl for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Because they'd be reliant on, say, they were dating a sighted woman to do the driving and, you know, all the stuff that, well,
Right.
quote unquote men are supposed to
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah.
but I mean times are changing. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. But
But
we always look at the traditional role. The man plans the date and he picks you up, but like you said, Elizabeth, times have changed since,
Mm-hmm.
we really dated.
but but you've really got me wondering though, Morgan, if when you do go out on a date, then it's the whole thing, you go to a restaurant, do you ask them to read the menu to you? Do you navigate with Be My Eyes? There's that whole the accessibility of the built environment when we go out on, even now, like, okay, let's say we've done the dating scene and now we're married or we're living together or whatever. I mean, you still want to go out on your dates or your nights out or out with friends, or then there's that whole, I know the technology's there, but if I'm listening to somebody on Be My Eyes or AI read the menu, then I'm missing out on the conversation as well. So
Yeah, that's true. When my
how do you?
husband and I go out, we always look at the menu first, even though I think that's more him than me, seriously. Um,
Yeah,
but and we always kind of scope out. I'm always worried about, okay, where's the bathroom located? Let's not pick a restaurant that's
Yeah.
too big, or like these little things that you think of,
yeah,
you know, and I'm always the only blind person there in our groups, but it always helps when we go out with friends. There's always, ladies go to the bathroom in pairs. That's since the beginning of time. So that's always good. So it's a little harder when we're just alone together, but we make it work. We really do.
yeah.
I still enjoy going out, doing pub crawls and, doing all those fun things. Did you ladies find as you were, marriage is hard enough, so you're losing your vision and you're changing, but your husband is still the same living. Was it hard to be like adapt to like how like things have to be in a certain place now and we go through a routine
Mm-hmm.
differently than we did before, you know, don't move things.
I think for me it was gradual, so we kind of adapted as we went.
Yeah.
But yes, it's difficult. And I mean, I feel guilty when he's out there doing all the yard work and mowing the lawn, stuff that I
Yeah.
used to be able to help with.
Yeah.
And, but, like you said, Stephanie, one day we try to do as much as we can, that stuff that we are able to do.
Yes, that we do
Yeah.
do. Yeah, you
Yes.
with
Yeah.
the chores. So the chores I can do, those are my
Hmm.
chores, and I always make sure that I do them because there is, yes, an aspect of guilt. I don't think they
Yeah.
project it on us. I think we project it on ourselves, and but
Yeah. I think it would be harder if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was, say, the man that was visually impaired or blind, because, men are supposed to be, or maybe I'm talking in old terms as well, the provider and the
right,
the caretaker and
right.
whatnot. So,
That's
Do you know
true.
what I think, honestly, ladies, would improve everybody's life that's living with sight loss is that if we did become more visible within the media. So, if, for example, I know I keep going on about this, but Coronation Street needs to bring in a blind person already. Do you know
mhm.
what I mean? Like, we're not seeing people with sight loss in shows, whether it's soap opera or movies or
Yeah,
anything.
it's true. That's true.
Do lead, regular lives. And I think with any relationship, there's natural ebbs and flows. And I
Hmm.
think that as you grow together. So yes, my husband and I, our relationship is definitely imbalanced in some areas. As far as, like, yes, he's always the one that's on the, with the, and we have a ride on lawnmower, so I mean, it's not like it's that hard, but still. But I do, as I mean, the flower beds, and those are my babies, like that's where I do. And the same inside, like, it's not that I can't do the housework, but we share chores.
Right.
And I think that that's just the way you find your natural ebb and flow rhythm within your relationship.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't matter, because we're all just temporarily able-bodied. I mean, my husband had a motorbike accident and hasn't been able to work ever since. And that was over 15 years ago. So, I mean, you just don't know, right?
Yes, you have to adapt. Yeah.
You have to adapt whether you've got sight loss or not.
And you can't sweat the small stuff anymore. Like, it doesn't have to be, I'm learning, it doesn't have to be as neat as it once was. It doesn't really have to. It's okay if it's not, if it's okay if I burn the rice, which I don't know. It's not that tragic if something happens, or, I spill water all over the table, or, you just have to not be so hard on yourself, So,
Yeah.
And do people,
somebody, I think it's Ken, I can't remember his saying, but, well, we all know Ken. He's our patriarch of the International Blind Cafe. But he says, with a lot of times with sight loss comes wife loss or husband loss. And I've heard that before from people. And that is one thing that doesn't keep me awake at night. I'm not saying that, but I do wonder how scary that would be if my partner was no longer in my life for whatever reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason, whether it be health or divorce, like, how would we go on? Like, how would it be, for us to handle ourselves? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a scary thought. That's a scary thought.
It is.
Morgan, does it make you think that it would be easier to be independent and to be on your own, or?
Well, because I lost my sight as a single independent person, I feel like it wouldn't be as tragic to maybe if I was married for a really long time and got used to having that other half there to help me and like share the stuff. But like, I feel it wouldn't be as bad because I have the skills I need to be independent and on my own.
Yeah.
But you do have the skills to be independent and be on your own, so that should be attractive to whomever you are looking for, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they can get past the first moment of, oh, she's blind, like what does that mean for us, as long as they pass that little test of, oh, she has a disability, then, yeah.
I mean, you could compare it to a language barrier. What if you met somebody and, they spoke Italian and you don't know a lick of it, or they speak very little English? Somehow couples overcome, that. So isn't just being disabled kind of the same thing? You learn ways to maneuver around your daily life or your dating life with that person, It shouldn't matter that much.
No, it takes a special someone to overlook that and to be more accepting.
But Morgan, the very special someone, so it's their gain for sure.
Yeah.
I Morgan, and ladies, in all of us, that word disabled or disability just puts my teeth on edge. You might have different abilities than your sighted boyfriend, but like if they could see what we could hear,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
talented as we are, right? So I think a lot of it is, like you said before, Stephanie, it's how we project it on ourselves.
Yeah. Because I'll ask my husband some days, you know, to your friends, has anybody ever said, why her? What's it like living? How do you guys do things? Or, do you do more than, she does? I wonder if we're a phenomenon sometimes, but I project on myself and he's like, you do more than me. He's like, I think you're wonderful. But as you said, Julie, I had to kiss a lot of frogs before I
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
him. So, yeah.
Frog, and you kissing any frogs lately? Like anybody, you're
Special?
anybody special? Are you
No,
no,
no, no
no.
one's special right now. No, I just got out of a relationship in October, so like I'm ready to
Oh,
start looking, but
Okay.
no one so far.
yeah.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted.
Oh, I
Yes.
definitely will.
So then what about the next step? We've dated, we're married, now we're gonna be parents
Yeah.
and we have a boss. What about
Yes.
that?
That's very
Oh,
difficult. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's when
Uh,
the mind in your back at the back of your head really come into play.
yes.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
I remember one time telling my kids I could hear through the walls and
you have to scare them to death.
bionic
Well,
hearing.
we definitely should touch on
Definitely.
this one more. I think we've probably all got some funny stories to tell about kids or being an
Yes.
aunt or an uncle or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
If you'd like to continue this conversation, we invite you to join us in the Cauldron on the International Blind Cafe Discord server and the Facebook group.